What's going on, guys? I welcome you to this video tutorial, and in this video tutorial I'll be taking you through entropy, and we'll try our very best to demystify what is entropy. So our main goal of this discussion is to demystify the term entropy. So before we start to demystify entropy, let's talk about the person who is responsible for this term entropy, specifically in the field of information theory. The person or the scientist who is responsible for this information theory is Claude Elwood Shannon. He was born on 30th April 1916, and he was with us till 24th February 2001. Claude Shannon was an American mathematician. He was also an electrical engineer, and he was also a cryptographer, and he is known as the father of information theory. Shannon is noted for having founded information theory with a landmark paper titled A Mathematical Theory of Communication. That which he published during 1948. Before Shannon's paper, information was not given much importance, but after Shannon's paper, it became apparent that information is well defined and above all, it's a measurable quantity. Shannon's theory of information provides a mathematical definition of information and describes precisely how much information can be communicated between different elements of a system. Shannon's theory ranks alongside those of Darwin's, Newton, and Einstein's theory. Now let's try to demystify entropy. The term entropy is used to define a lot of terminologies like disorderness, and it's also used to define uncertainty, as well as it's also used to define surprise. And here in information theory, it's used to measure information content. Shannon was looking for a way to efficiently send message without losing any information from source point to the destination. Shannon measured the efficiency in terms of average message length. Therefore, he was thinking about how to encode original message into smallest possible data structure. At the same time, he required that there should be no information loss. So he was trying to encode the message in terms of smallest possible data structure. And in the process of making the message smaller and smaller, it might so happen that we might lose some information. But here the other condition of Shannon was to conserve all the information, or in other words, no information loss. And finally, Shannon defined entropy as smallest possible average size of lossless encoding of the messages sent from source to destination. So according to Shannon, entropy is nothing but smallest possible average size of lossless encoding of the messages sent from source to destination. And he also showed us how to calculate entropy, which is a very useful thing to know as to make efficient use of communication channel. Now let's see how to make efficient and lossless encoding. And let's discuss this concept by taking an example. Let's say there are two friends who are living in two different cities. Let city one be Tokyo and the other city be New York. So there are two friends who are situated in two different cities, namely Tokyo and the other city being New York. And let's assume that the person who is living in Tokyo is trying to communicate with the person who is living in New York, and they are trying to communicate information or message regarding the climate conditions in Tokyo. So the person who is living in Tokyo is sending message that which is related to climate of Tokyo city to the person who is living in New York City. And obviously his message would be something like this. Today, Tokyo's weather is fine. But is this communication efficient is our next question. Is this efficient? So take your time and think for a while, because right now the person who is living in Tokyo is sending some message stated like this, that is, today Tokyo's weather is fine. But do we need to really send all these redundant information is our next question. So the answer for this question is this system, this message is not efficient because it carries lot of redundant information within itself. Because by now we already know that the two persons are communicating with respect to the topic climate of today's. So thereby we can easily eliminate today from this message, and we can also eliminate Tokyo's from the message, because by now we already know that the person who is living in Tokyo is trying to speak about the weather conditions of Tokyo city. So it's obvious that he is speaking of Tokyo city. So no need to include Tokyo. And we also know that both are speaking with respect to weather conditions. So thereby we can also scratch out this weather from the message. And all we are left out with is whether the climate condition is fine or not. So the only thing that the person who is living in Tokyo has to transmit or has to send to the person who is in New York is whether the climate condition is fine or whether the climate condition is not fine. So instead of this long message, what he can send is just fine, or the other message is not fine. So anyhow, the person who is living in Tokyo by no sense fine or not fine depending upon the weather condition in Tokyo to the person who is living in New York. But can we still decrease this message Or can we make the entire conversation much more better? Or in other words, much more efficient? Is our question again. I'm putting the same question again and again because we only need to tell yes or no, which is a binary. So the answer over here is we got to send whether the climate condition is fine or not. That is, we can think of it to be taking a binary form. We need precisely 1 bit to encode the above message. So thereby, we need only 1 bit to encode the message. That is, we can make bit 0 to convey that the weather condition is fine, and we can make use of bit 1 to indicate that weather condition is not fine. Instead of transmitting fine and not fine, we can just make use of binary bits 0 and 1 in order to communicate whether the weather condition is fine or not. So thereby, right now I'll be updating my message to just 0. If the person who is living in Tokyo transmits bit 0, and if the same message reaches to the person who is living in New York, the person who is living in New York can make out that the weather condition is fine in Tokyo because he has received bit 0. Or if the person who is living in Tokyo transmits bit 1 instead of 0, the person who is living in New York can make out that the weather condition in Tokyo is not that good or it's not fine. So, and hence, in an approach to make the conversation much more efficient, we have used binary system to communicate weather conditions. As a matter of fact, the person who is living in Tokyo is trying to communicate to the person who is living in New York on the topic climate that is prevailing in Tokyo. What if there are other climatic conditions? What if there are more climatic conditions in Tokyo? Because by now we already know that the climate can drastically change from cloudy to rainy within seconds. Now, how can the person who is living in Tokyo can communicate the more weather conditions to the person who is living in New York just by using binary number system? Can he make use of a single bit to communicate? No. Now there is a problem. Now how can I tackle this problem of more weather conditions? Is our next question. So take your time and think for a while. Because right now, along with fine and not fine, we are having two more conditions, cloudy and rainy. I can solve this problem by going for more number of bits. So instead of using single bit, I can encode the same message bit using 2 bits such that I'll be getting 4 combinations. The starting combination would be 0 0, second combination would be 0 1, third combination would be 1 0, and the fourth combination would be 1 1. So right now we have solved this problem of more weather conditions by going for 2 message bits. But is there something wrong with this approach? Semantically, semantically, cloudy and rainy are both not fine climatic conditions, and therefore not fine is redundant. So we can remove this case from our list because it's obvious that cloudy and rainy are trying to describe that the weather condition is not fine. So it's ways to include this case of not fine, and thereby I am trying to eliminate this. And we are left out with three cases. Now we are left out with three cases of messages, namely fine, cloudy, and rainy. So it's 0, 0, 1, 0, and 1, 1. So here out of 4 combinations, we have eliminated not fine conditions. So thereby we are left out with just 3 messages, fine, cloudy, and rainy. And in order to indicate fine condition, we have used 2 message bits 0, 0, and cloudy weather is indicated by message bits 1, 0, and rainy is being indicated by 1, 1. So if this message is received over New York, the person can make out that the weather is fine at Tokyo. In a similar way, if the person in Tokyo transmits 1-0 to the person who is living in New York, he'll get to know that the weather condition is cloudy. And if the person living in Tokyo transmits 1-1, then the person living in New York will get to know that it's a rainy day at Tokyo. And the other important thing you are supposed to note down here is this bit will be the first bit that which will be transmitted over the channel, and this will be the second bit always. So this will be my first bit and this will be my second bit. This is my first bit and this is my second bit. Now again let's put ourselves the question, is the communication system efficient? And again the answer would be no. Why? Because in the above coding, fine is encoded using 2 bits 0, 0, but we don't need the second 0. Here in this case, we don't need this second 0. When the first bit is 0, we already know that the weather condition is fine because both cloudy and rainy starts with bit 1. So these two weather conditions that which fall under category not fine, they already start with starting bit 1. So it's obvious that fine weather condition will start with starting bit 0. So thereby no need to go for our second bit for to indicate fine weather condition. So the second 0 that we have used over here is redundant, and thereby we can eliminate this. And we can make use of only single bit in order to indicate fine weather condition. So thereby my updated binary Binary conditions to indicate weathers are something like this: 0, 1, 0, followed by 1, 1. Where if the starting bit is 0, I can make out that the weather condition is fine. And if my starting bit itself is equal to 1, I can make out that the weather condition is not fine. And if I receive the second bit as equal to 0, I can make out that it's not fine and the weather is not fine because of cloudy weather condition. And if my second bit is equal to 1, I can make out that the weather condition is not fine and it's due to a rainy weather condition. So right now this is my updated message encoding. Now what if I include one more weather condition like snow? Because we also know that back in Tokyo it can also snow. So what if I'm having one more message and I want to encode it in terms of binary? So how do I do this? Is our next question. So the obvious answer over here would be to go for single bit for fine, that too 0 to indicate weather condition fine, 1, 0 in order to indicate cloudy, and for rainy we'll go with 3 bits 1, 1, 0, and for snowing we'll go with message encoding 1, 1, 1. So right now this is my tentative binary encoding of weather conditions, but let's see whether this encoding is efficient or not. So right now we have changed rainy from 11 to 110 and added one more weather condition, snowing. And we are trying to encode this snowing using binary bits 111. Now if I consider these two cases, rainy and snowing conditions, so rainy is being encoded in terms of 110 and for snowing it's being encoded using 111. But here in both the cases, what we got to observe here is the starting two message bits is equal to 11 in both the cases. So thereby 11 over here is ambiguous. When multiple encodings are sent, so here 11 is ambiguous when multiple encodings are sent one after another. As an example case, let's look at this message. So let's assume that we are making use of 11 to encode rainy and we are making use of 111 in order to encode snowy. If I'm having a 5-bit value, all ones, this 5 continuous ones can be decoded in two different ways. One would be to select starting 2 bits. So I can group these 2 bits and I can say that it's rainy, but later the weather changed to, I can group the remaining 3 bits and I can say that the weather condition was earlier rainy and later it changed to snowing. So this is my first interpretation. And I can also interpret it in the other way as I can group the starting 3 bits and I can say that it was snowing earlier and later I can group these 2 bits and I can say that it started to rain later. So this will be my second interpretation. So because of this, we need to use 110 for rainy, so here we have used one more zero here so that there is no ambiguity, or to eliminate ambiguity. So I could have used this sort of encoding over here because 1 over here is very ambiguous. We have added one more zero for rainy climate condition. So thereby, if the weather condition is rainy followed by snowing, my message encoding will be I'll first encode rainy, and by now we already know that rainy is indicated with 110 and snowing is indicated using 111. So I'll be transmitting this message so that which avoids confusion, or if the weather condition was earlier snowing followed by raining, I can encode this as 111 followed by 110. So that's how we can avoid confusion in weather conditions. So the encoding now uses first bit for fine or not, and the second bit for cloudy or others, and the third bit for rain or snow. So finally, fine, cloudy, rainy, snowing. So right now, fine is encoded using 0 and cloudy is indicated using 10 and rainy is indicated using 110 and snowing is encoded using 111, such that here first bit is used to indicate whether the weather condition is fine or not, because the remaining three weather conditions are not fine. So first bit is used to indicate whether the weather condition is fine or not. So if it is 0, the weather condition is fine, and if it is equal to 1, we can make out that the weather condition is not fine, followed by if the second bit is equal to 0, it means the weather condition is cloudy, or if it's equal to 1, we can make out that it should be either be rainy or snowing, and the third bit over here indicates, so second bit over here indicates whether the weather condition is cloudy or others, and the third bit over here indicates whether the weather condition is rainy or snowing. So right now we have got an efficient method, but we are yet to do one more job. That is, we want to know whether we have achieved the smallest possible average encoding size using the above lossless encoding or not. And for this, we got to calculate average encoding size. Now, how can we calculate average encoding size? Is our next question. Now let's see how to calculate average encoding size. Let's suppose Tokyo is sending the weather messages to New York many times, say every hour, using lossless encoding. And this data has been accumulated as weather report so that we know the probability distribution of message types sent from Tokyo to New York. So right now we are having this weather data report such that by now we know its probability distribution. So again, let me draw the two cities, Tokyo The other city is New York. There are four weather conditions, namely fine, cloudy, raining, and snowing. Fine is being encoded as 0, cloudy is being encoded as 10, rainy is being encoded as 110, and finally snowing is encoded as 111. If 0 reaches New York, then the person living in New York can get to know that the weather condition is fine. If the message received is 10, he can get to know the weather condition is cloudy. And if the message received is 110, then the weather condition is rainy. And if 111 is received, then he can get to know that it's snowing at Tokyo. And because the weather condition is being recorded for a while, and this is available in terms of weather report, and by now we already know its probability distribution of the weather, such that let's assume that 60% of Tokyo's weather is fine and only 38% is cloudy, and remaining 1% is either raining or snowing, such that when I add all these values, I'll get 100. So 38 plus 1 is 39, 39 plus 1 is 40, 40 plus 60 is 100. So right now this is the probability distribution that which we have got from the recorded weather report data. So having this information, now let's try to calculate average encoding size. And average encoding size can be calculated as, so here if I look at the number of bits used in this case is to indicate fine is 1. So let me make out one more column as number of bits used. So in order to indicate fine weather condition, we are using 1 bit. In order to indicate cloudy, we are using 2 bits. And in order to indicate rainy, we are using 3 bits. And finally, in order to indicate snowing, we are making use of 3 bits. So in order to calculate average number of bits used to send messages from Tokyo to New York can be got by using the formula average number of bits used to send message from Tokyo to New York can be given as, so this is equal to, so if I convert 60% in terms of decimal fraction, I'll get 0.6 into number of bits used over in order to indicate fine is 1 plus 0.38 that which is cloudy, and in order to indicate cloudy we are making use of two number of bits, so 0.38 into 2 plus 1% rainy, and in order to encode rainy we are making use of three number of bits. Same is the case with snowing, that is 1%, which I'll get in terms of fraction as 0.01 into 3. So finally when I compute all these things, I'll get this thing as equal to 1.42 bits. So with the above encoding, we use 1.42 bits on average per message. Now for example, if we have much more rain and snow in Tokyo, the average encoding size will be very different, such that if I change this probability distribution as, let's say the weather condition back at Tokyo is 10% fine, 10% cloudy, 40% rainy, and 40 more percent snowy, then my average number of bits used to send message from Tokyo to New York would be different value. So if I were to compute that, I'll be getting 0.1 into 1. So this 0.1 is a result of this 10%, and in order to encode fine we are using one number of bit, so thereby it's 0.1 into 1 plus 0.1 into 2 in order to encode cloudy. In a similar way, third value is 40%, that which gives me 0.4 into 3 plus 0.4 into 3, and if I compute this value, I'll get a new updated value of 2.7 bits on average per message. So here if I compare my first instance with that of second instance, so this value I had got in my first instance and this for my second instance. So for my second instance, as you can see, I have changed my probability distribution, but I have retained the same encoding. As a matter of fact of retained encoding, I have got more number of bits on an average per message. Now how can I reduce this average number of bits used? By changing this encoding. So I can change this encoding to depending upon the probability distribution. So here what I'll do is, for higher probability weather conditions, I'll make use of lesser number of bits such that I'll change this to, I'll encode rainy with single bit 0, and I'll encode snowing, that which is again of greater percent, that is 40%, with 10, and the other two weather conditions that which are equal to 10%, I'll encode it using 110 and 111 respectively, such that here for this case if I try to calculate average number of bits used, then I'll get 10% into, so here the number of bits used for this is 3, 1 and 2. Now if I were to make use of the same formula and calculate average number of bits used, I'll get 0.1 into 3 plus 0.1 into 3 plus 0.4 into 1 plus 0.4 into 2, that which gives me 0.3 plus 0.3 plus 0.4 plus 0.8, such that the updated value will be equal to 1.8 bits on average per message. So thus by changing the encoding format in such a way that higher probability messages are associated with lesser number of bits and lower probability weather conditions are encoded using more number of bits, we can achieve lesser number of bits on an average. Although this encoding yields smaller average encoding size, we lose the nice semantic meaning we had in previous encoding schemes, that is, first bit was used to tell whether the weather condition is fine or not, and the second bit for cloudy or other conditions, and the third bit for whether it's rainy or snowing. That's the only drawback of this encoding scheme. Now we know how to calculate the average encoding size, but how do we get to know if our encoding is the best that achieves the smallest averaging encoding size? And in order to clear that point, let me pose you a problem and seek for answer. So again, we are having weather conditions of Tokyo, probability distribution that which is given as 50% fine, 25% cloudy, 12.5% rainy, and 12.5% snowing. So this is the weather condition probability distribution at Tokyo. Now, how do I encode all the four weather conditions is our next question. So what will be your answer for this? Take your time and think for a while. So from our previous observations, we already know that the weather conditions that which is associated with higher probability of occurrence should be encoded with lesser number of bits, and the weather conditions that which are associated with lower probability of occurrence should be encoded using more number of bits. So let's make use of the same ground rule over here. As you can see that fine is associated with 50% probability, so thereby it should be encoded using lesser number of bits, whereas these two conditions that which are associated with lesser probability should be encoded using more number of bits. So from our previous observations, it's clearly evident that weather conditions that which are associated with higher probability of occurrence should be encoded using lesser number of bits, and the weather conditions that which are associated with lower probability of occurrence should be encoded using more number of bits. So thereby taking that point into account, we can easily make out that the weather conditions that which is of higher probability should be encoded using lesser number of bits. So thereby fine is encoded using only single bit, followed by cloudy that which is of 25% should be encoded using 2 bits, and for rainy and snowing 3 bits. So this process involves too many trials and errors to find the right encoding size. So given a probability distribution, is there any easy way to calculate the smallest possible average size of lossless encoding of message bits sent from source to destination? In other words, how do we calculate entropy? Suppose we are having 8 message types, each of which happens with equal probability. What is the minimum number of bits we need to encode them without any ambiguity? Is the question. By now we already know the definition of probability. So probability of an event is given as number of favorable cases to event A whole divided by total number of cases. So thereby, as it's given that there are 8 message types, each of which happens with equal probability. So thereby probability of each event is given as 1 divided by 8. So there are 8 messages: message 1, message 2, message 3, message 4, message 5, message 6, message 7, and message 8, and each of that is associated with some probability, that is equal probability, that is given as 1 by 8, or 1 by 8 is 12.5%. Now the question is, how many bits are to be used in order to encode each message? So now the question is, how many bits do we need to encode 8 different values? So the solution is very intuitive, that is 1 bit can be used to indicate 2 values. In a similar way, 2 bits can be used to indicate 4 values, and 3 bits can be used to indicate 8 values. So here the obvious solution would be to make use of 3 bits. So message 1 can be encoded as 000, followed by M2 can be encoded as 001, M3 can be encoded as 010, M4 can be encoded as 011, M5 as 100, M6 as 101, M7 as 110, and finally M8 as 111. We cannot reduce any bit from any of the messages. Here, out of this, I cannot eliminate any bit because this in turn, if I lose in a process to reduce the number of bits, if I lose any bit over here, it might cause ambiguity or state of confusion. And also, we don't need more than 3 bits to encode 8 different values. In general, we need log to the base 2 of n, where n is the number of different values. So for my previous case, I had 8 different messages. So in fact, if I substitute 8 in place of n, I can rewrite this as log to the base 2. 8 can be rewritten as 2 power 3. And according to logarithmic rules, I can take this power in front and I'll have 3 into log to the base 2 of 2, that which is nothing but equal to 1. So in fact, we'll get value as equal to 3. In other words, if a message type happens 1 out of n times, the above formula gives minimum size required. So this is given as log to the base 2 of n, and by now we already know n, how exactly n is related to probability. So probability is given as 1 by n. So if I can rewrite this, I can have this as negative log to the base 2 1 by n. This in turn is equal to, I can replace 1 by n with p. So I'll be getting negative log to the base 2 of p. Now let's combine this knowledge with how we calculate the minimum average encoding size in bits, which is nothing but entropy. So thereby entropy is given as negative summation probability log to the base 2 p of I, where p of I is the probability of ith message type. So what I have done here is I have just made use of this over here. And we are having this negative sign over here. And if we carefully observe our previous cases where we had calculated average number of bits used to send message, where we had considered where we had multiplied probability distribution with number of bits. So probability distribution here is nothing but given as p of I into the number of bits used, and as it's evident that after multiplication we are trying to add all those values, So because of that, we are having summation over here. So it's the same formula, but in a condensed form, and that is nothing but equal to entropy. So this was the formula that which was given by Claude Shannon in order to calculate entropy. If entropy is high, it means we have many message types with small probabilities. Hence, every time a new message arrives, you would expect a different type than previous message. You may see it as a disorder or uncertainty or unpredictability. When a message type with much smaller probability than other message types happens, it appears as a surprise because on average you would expect other more frequently sent message types. So this is how we can demystify the term entropy. If you are having any doubts, please do comment in the comment section, or if you are having any constructive criticism, you are always welcome to put it in the comment section also. Thanks for watching.